Good afternoon. It's that time. Uh, yeah, we're gonna do some Steam Workshop Sentinels development stuff. I feel like I'm not in the same spot. It's been shifted around somehow. I don't know what's going on. Try to get comfortable. Looks like we're live. Looks like everything is good. I'm John. I'm lead developer at Handelabra, and we have been making Steam Workshop mod support for Sentinels. The cauldron has been rolling right along. Look at how much 1,437 commits already in like a few weeks. That is very exciting stuff happening there. So I wanted to send a shout out to those working on the cauldron. There's artwork. There's lots of cards programmed. Look at this stuff. Very cool. Great stuff. So I'm going to work on continuing to support that stuff working. As people noted, there's an issue with promos within mods not working. And I did just fix that. Basically, it was like here. Yeah, so it was just including the namespace in the wrong spot for that case. So that will be fixed up soon. 11 heroes, 5 villains, and 5 environments done. Very cool. So yeah, we'll get those promos working. In the game. You can still test them, of course, and everything. It's just that was an issue with the new game screen. So that's been sorted. The other big thing is the resource guidelines have now been published. I made a new card, or copied a card, I guess, or whatever, on the workshop board. So the first version of the resource guidelines has been published, and this has all the documentation of the artwork files and stuff like that. Looks like the formatting is a bit weird because it's uploaded from Google Docs, but we'll continue to iterate on. There's some weird stuff going on there. But this it lets us just edit the Google Doc, and then it publishes right away. So that's nice. So it'll at least be in this format for a while. Maybe we'll, have another website or something at some point. But for now, this is official docs. I'll throw the link into the Twitch chat as well, so you can see that. So there's still some stuff in here that's a living document, it says here. So we'll continue to update it. Want to add some actual screenshots showing what stuff is and things like that. So there's some more going on in here, but it was at a point where we thought it was good enough to get out and get that made available. And there's also in progress documentation on the engine that Jean-Marc is working on a lot, and that will be available. Look, he's checking things off on the list right now. So that will be available as that progresses as well. So that's exciting. And Roomba is running around here, so you might hear a weird noise once in a while. I wanted to get back into working on loading artwork. We didn't have everything totally done for loading artwork. It was just sort of, you could load some of the basic stuff, and that was working, which was really good. But there's also, there were more places where it wasn't loading the artwork. So if I can remember how that works from last week, we'll get back into it. So last time, I just was doing some debugging here, so I actually don't even need the changes. Just had some extra logging or something there. So this was blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's some bug fixes I made after, but then, on the 27th, we had the cutout graphic loading and stuff where we're basically adding in the namespace parameter to all these things. And then loading stuff up dynamically. So So yeah, I think people noticed that the damaged cutouts weren't loading properly, and there's still like new game screen and start of game stuff. So let's maybe go and make sure that the rest of the cutouts are loading right. So let's see what kind of game we have set up here. I think we were like, I was testing out like the variant thing. Right, so actually this is let's just start a new game that we can test with. Sure, Baron Blade. And let's use our migrant coder, which is using Unity's graphics right now, but we're actually going to change that too. And let's just pick a heroes that can like beat up on migrant coder to get them damaged. Right, the start of game is another one that needs to load. Actually, I didn't even put the damaged graphics in there, right? Like, they're not even there at all. So, Seamus writes user manuals as part of your job. Very cool. All right, let's see. So, I had put like... no, not there. Where are we? Sentinels, mods, right, cutouts and everything. Using all the Unity names. So we have the, right, there's the damaged. Graphic is there, and it like looks like that. So that should be, we should be getting that. So we'll just knock the character down to, be cooler if they read them. Well, also, it'll be the same for us. None of these cards do anything. Why did I make my cards do nothing? Why do I have so much hit points? Maybe I'll change it to not have so much hit points. There's also some logic around the damage thing because the Sentinels don't have them and stuff, right? Let's update our mod to not have so much hit points. Or maybe to have a card that deals more damage. Yeah, maybe I'll have their power deal themselves 30 damage. That seems better. Yeah. 30 psychic damage. That seems balanced. And our test isn't going to work, but that's okay. This is the thing where now our comment doesn't match. You know, your comment has to be truthful. All right. Okay, so that is not where it is. It is under here. My mod bin debug my mod. Just updated. All right. And we didn't change the model or anything, so we can sneakily load our existing game and rewind. Not even rewind, because we didn't even carry on. All right, so if we hit ourselves for 30 damage, oh, the texture goes blank. because it's probably not able to find it. Well, it's probably trying to load it from non-mod. It might not even be logging that stuff. Probably isn't. Okay. Let's see. And then if I like continue the game here. Which will be after. Oh, so it did load the damaged one there, but when it's switching art, it's like using a different method. It's using the asynchronous method so that it doesn't like bog down the game at all. It just loads it when it can. It's not going to slow you down. So that's that, and then that was the stuff that we didn't fully do. So in resource helper, basically all of these methods need to support the namespace. So we'll just go through them. This one is sending in the mod namespace. This one is not. What's this used by? Deck browser. We don't like it. That's not a big deal, but we can still like try to be consistent and pass it in, because we can still pass in the card definition namespace. Which will be just null for all of our stuff, but for mods. Right, this one is where we're updating. So this is the one that wasn't working there. So here we want to pass in the namespace to this. Yeah. That's probably because you used undo or something. That's why they would have shown up then, because when you undo it reloads everything. We just got to pass in these parameters, which we weren't because we weren't checking those things. Okay. This one, special environment ending texture should use the environments namespace. Environment ending texture should use the environments namespace too. This one comes from a definition, but we are setting that now. That's a thing that I changed. Is I think last time I had like a model property for the namespace, but actually decided to get rid of that, and that's being put in the deck definition and card definition now. That's where it's keeping it, which I think is generally better. And doesn't need to be put into the deck list or anything. It will like populate it when you create the thing. Okay. These are all loading villain ending textures, but they all end up calling load texture, right? So we just need to make sure to pass in the information. Because all of these load texture just takes strings at the end, right? And so we need to, it doesn't carry through the object. Load environment panel texture. This one's sending the namespace. Environment started game texture needs to do that. Oh, we just have a deck definition in this case. And I guess I could have gone through and done all this on last week, but I didn't. This one here. Hero start of game textures. As well. Hero start of game texture async. Villain start of game texture. Villain start of game texture asynchronous. I don't think we need to worry about the DLC store or multiplayer avatars. Cool. So that's probably all of them. Load texture 2D async is not. What's this used by? Preloading the cutouts. Right, so this needs to pass in. This is a code path that's not being used right, or not being handled right now. Because this part isn't checking it. So that's a whole new, and this is used for, preloading cutouts. So the loading works better. So we need to do that. Okay, so this needs to take the mod namespace. And we need to do the same. Right, so this. What? Visual Studio. I just typed strig. I didn't want a particle accelerator or whatever that was. All right, so we just want to do something similar to the other things that say, if it's a mod, try to do that. Basically, right? I don't know why that's different than the other thing, but I don't know if I really want to try to get into it. Oh, I guess mod space is the type of name that we're using. I mean, it's the same. It's the same. Can we just use the same code? Why is this one called using texture 2D versus just texture? I don't know why we have both of those. Oh, because it can... Oh, right. Right. So what this one is doing is it's loading the textures and saving them. It's not putting them on the screen right away. It's like loading them up into this result. And so it's loading it without showing on the screen. That's the biggest difference. Whereas the other one is loading it and putting it into the texture. So that's why we have the difference there. Okay, so... yeah, so we're calling this mod space for whatever reason. And for this we can say... oh, right. We don't actually... paths. Oh, I see. Yeah, we want the non-namespace of this. So this is loading. Basically, when we are replacing a hero, we want to load all the cutouts like sort of at once. And that's what this is doing. It's been a long time since I wrote this code. I'm sure it all made sense once. So we're going to pass the namespace in from the one card that we're loading all of the things. Look, you can do this. So switching the textures during an animation will be fast. Right, so yeah, so that's what that's doing. And then this code applies those preloaded cutouts. And cutouts isn't just another word for character artwork that we use. But the documentation that's more of like an internal thing that we use, so we didn't use that in the documentation because I think it would make sense to most people. Okay. So this needs to pass down the mod space. Right. And so in here, yeah, I guess it's really the same thing. Like all of this code above is the exact same, except in the other one we like assign the texture to the like the visual object, but in this one we just like don't. We just keep it. And these are all texture 2Ds anyways, so okay. So that's just doing, it's just using the same call in Mod Manager. We can do this. Okay, so that is that. Let's see what's next. Yeah, I guess there's these other cases where like we're not. This is this weird, like if it's editor, it's doing something. I just want to make sure that this is only going to affect me, but I don't want, if things are happening wrong for me, I want it to be like, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Sprite atlases, these are using mod space. Deck browser text is not, but we're not worrying about that right now. Music we're not doing right now. And asset bundles have to do with DLC. These are path names. Those are all the same. Yeah, that's one of the reasons we did it the way we did, is that we don't have to change any of these things. Paths. Okay, so that looks all good. So that means that all the graphics should be loading that are specified in a mod. So let's see. Let's just rewind. Let's just sort of give it the best try here. Rewind to use a power. We've got our hit points. I'm just gonna like freshly continue the game so it doesn't even have anything potentially in memory but the damaged cutout. And we'll deal ourselves a big damage after drawing a bunch of cards. Oh, can't hit Baron Blade. We don't want to hit Baron Blade. Hey, look, damaged artwork. Cool. All right, so I'm just going to commit that because that's like just a sort of whack of like support mod artwork for all the other resource helper calls. Okay, so that should support like any other sort of graphics in that cutouts folder. It might actually make start of game and stuff like that work now. So let's do we? Yeah, we actually have that in there. So let's see. Let's start a game. New game with migrant coder and random wager master. Yeah, so that did not load. We got an error somewhere. Where's the error? Could not find. Oh, weird. Just like. I mean, it's looking in here, but it's not using the actual qualified identifier. So, I mean, there's probably more that we need to do, I guess. So where is this? Oh man, I hate it when there's too many logs and you can't find your thing. Load hero start of game texture. That's where we came in. We might be able to. I don't know if our game intro scene has a testing setup. We might be able to iterate on it this way. Apparently, it's loading a bunch of. I don't know why it's trying to load this stuff. Oh, right, because of my. That's in maybe my debug test. Okay. So it might be that this is not doing the right thing. What is game intro view controller doing when I load it directly? Oh, what did I start typing? Right, it's just setting a bunch of fixed stuff. Well, let's. Yeah, and then like we won't. It's going to be annoying to try to iterate on it that way. Maybe. Let's just try to narrow down exactly what's happening. New game with our mod and that stuff. And we'll clear the log and hit go. And then just sort of stop once we've got some errors happening. I guess there's error pause. I could turn that on. Right, so we're trying to look. Interesting. It's doing something wrong, weird with the file name. I think it's not appending .png to it, right? Like that's the. Oh, it should be. Yeah, it should be not putting the namespace on there. Okay, this is where we first come in. Well, not first. We came in. So this is wrong, like this. Something higher up is happening. So, but it's coming from load hero start of game texture. So we can like uncomment that. I'm guessing the path here, or even the character identifier is wrong, right? Yeah, it should be trying to load, like, it shouldn't be passing in the namespace. It should be just that. So why is it deciding to pass in the namespace? Probably something I did, I guess. I probably was too aggressive with qualified identifier once upon a time. So what's calling this? Game intro hero cell. Configure. And right. These hero identifiers are probably qualified identifiers now. And that is causing this problem. Because we don't have like the actual, we just have strings at this point. So I guess we can just like, I don't know if we can just strip off the namespace, because the namespace, like if we have like our variant of bunker or whatever. So interesting. Okay, we'll have to figure out what we're doing here. So I think if I run this again, I'm going to see, yeah, the path is going to be including that, which means that the path is being passed in as part of this character identifier. So we were loading the oh yeah, this won't actually work for mod variants of characters the way it's set up here right now. All this does is load the graphics. That's all it does. So maybe I'll just throw a quick login here to make sure we're doing what we expect at this point, and then we can adjust it. And we'll turn on error pause. Never going to have to do this every time, but okay. Right. So the character identifier or the deck identifier is workshopping.migrantcoder. Character identifier is workshopping.migrantcoder character, but we should be seeing character not have the workshopping. We don't want that. And right, so that's because what this is doing is just like assuming that we look for whatever it is dot and then add character to it is going to be the graphic that we want. And the Sentinels are special. They have an instructions card instead. So what if instead of this we're like assuming the graphic is named this, which is easy to do. We can instead load the deck definition and get the identifier of the initial card. And loading the deck definition is not expensive because we have a cache. And then hero character is the hero def dot initial cards card identifiers dot first. And error checking. That's one thing, like, we're gonna have to have more error checking in these things, because like we can be sure that we don't cause problems, but like someone makes a mod that doesn't have any initial cards and then this breaks, right? Like, because there are no things. I was thinking, I don't know, not today, but there will be a stream where we like just like try to make a broken mod and then add error checking for everything. So we may as well do that now. So like, you know, if hero def is not null, we'll just do these checks in here as well. So instead of first, we want to use first or default, right? I saw people were posting exceptions where like a call to first was failing. It's like, yeah, because you're doing something against what normally should happen. Or I don't know what the error, like, you know, we're able to deal with these things internally a lot easier. Right, so right, I guess we can do it if it's a promo, use the promo. Otherwise, use the first initial card. And that might actually mean we don't need to have a special case for the Sentinels anymore, because the Sentinels deck list, the first card is the Sentinels instructions, so that should be okay. And this goes in here, and this goes in here. And I guess here we can check. And I don't know. We can log that out. We can just like silently fail. Okay, so that should probably work, and it should also work for the Sentinels. We can test it and make sure we didn't break existing heroes. I don't think it's going to work for... It might not work for other things. Let's see. So, new game. Heroes. We'll just do this, just our character to begin with. Hey, some glitchiness, but we got the artwork. So let's try the Sentinels, and let's try that bunker variant, which we didn't have an art file for, but it should at least like try the right file. Then we can put a file in there. So our bunker file, And the Sentinels, which are weird. The Sentinels, where'd you go? There you are. So yeah, it's gonna have an error because there is no graphic for, but it should, that's where I want it to be looking for, right? Is heroes, bunker, wayward bunker, character, hero, turn. Like that's where I want it to be looking. What about the start of game? It's not looking for a start of game for, I don't know, maybe that's, but the Sentinels work. All right, I guess we'll put graphics in there just to stop it complaining. So heroes. Come on. Bunker. Let's grab some files from Jennifer's placeholders that she's working on. I don't know where those are. Under Jennifer working, maybe. Steam Workshop. Placeholder example. There we go. I don't know if those have the masks. I like the ones with the masks. Let's get those. And cool. So let's use character B for bunker. And let's put them in here. And we will rename them character B to wayward bunker character. And yeah, we can grab start of game. Wayward bunker character. Sure, why not a yes, no dialogue? That should load our in-game graphics at least. I guess if I continue game, it should have that game. We have an error. Oh, it can't find the effects. But effects is not really, it's not an error. It's fine. You don't need to have an effects file. Let's change that to not be an error. And then, yeah, it can't find card art files. That's fine. So we have that file loading though. Hey, look, a spammer. Bye. Cool. We got a graphic for bunker there. So those are loading. Start of game, let's check that. And I'll check it, like it shouldn't be an error if it fails to load the effects file. Effects files are optional. New game. With bunker and then whoever else. Let's just make it less. And then I press the wrong button. Press fight, not play in Unity. I do that sometimes. Why Why did I pick the hero that has the most variants to add a variant to? It's my hubris. Alright, so we're not getting a file, and we did get an error. Right, those are the errors. I don't want these to be errors. I think we want to check here. And path, or path dot, or sorry, file. I guess we can go path dot next. Get file name without extension path. Ends with effects. This doesn't end with effect. If it like, I don't care if it ends with effects. Basically, we're not gonna log that out. We're not even. It doesn't. Oh yeah, this is changing scripts and then writing Unity. Doesn't like that. There's an option that, but I don't know if it's supported in this older version. Let's go new game. Let's do this again. It might be just failing silently in that spot where it was failing and I didn't log it. Let's see. All right, so we're not getting a graphic, right? We're not getting errors, which is good. Where's our thing where we're loading the start of game? Configure hero cell workshopping .wayward bunker. Load resources says the path is just right. So it's getting confused here. I think because wait. Load hero start a game texture. I'm not seeing that. Like we got into here. I should be seeing this. Oh. Yeah, I should be seeing this here. It's getting just into nonsense, I think, because of that. Why? I don't understand why this log is coming up and then the next log is... Well, we probably just didn't save that file. That's probably what happened. Save. Yeah. Maybe I should save the file. I think it's gonna not be working right with the variant here because it's not even doing anything sensible here. Let's go new game. Random. I must have had another something variant or whatever. Okay. Start of game. Oh, we're failing on the skyscraper. So I did break something with that. Skyscraper graphic is not named that. I believe it's just skyscraper character is what and we can't have that. We have to like put it in a special case to fix that, I think. That might not also work for like the any item stuff. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. So yeah, it's like it worked for the Sentinels, but it didn't work for anything else. Cutout / start of game / heroes. And then it got right, so deck identifier is bunker. But since the definition bunker doesn't have a namespace, it's like, well, it's like workshopping, and then this is like the file extension that it's seeing. Right. So basically, it's getting confused about that because it doesn't know about that being a namespace. We need to pull that out of the character identifier. Okay. So right, so this needs to know where is this being used anyways? Other places. Deck browser and end game credits. And maybe an intro. So we know if we need to check here, right? Like if the deck definition is not a mod, but the character identifier as a namespace, it's a mod variant, right? And we need to pull that out of the character identifier, I think. And this path is fine. Probably be better if it didn't have the namespace in it, right? I'd rather it didn't. So yeah, let's put this at the start. We might, since these things are like using the same thing, we might, so this one is not being used by mods. Well, yeah, it is for Oblivion mode. We might like pull out some of this logic and share it between them. So basically we need to like change this. We need to get a better path, and we need to find the namespace. So let's do this. String mod space is null. I guess it's definition dot. And actually, you could have a mod for a mod variant for a different mod, right? And that needs to send the right one. So like a deck definition and character identifier have different namespaces. So initially we'll look at the, yeah, I guess we can do like the character space is going to be the character identifier split on dot. And basically, right, we want the last thing, so we can like reverse, skip one, reverse, and join it back together. Oh, right, there's a function string.join. Yeah. separator first. I think there's a components. No, that's just another API, I think. Right, and it wants this to be an array. Basically, we're saying take the identifier, split it by dots, so we get like workshopping, whatever, wayward bunker. Reverse that, so then it's wayward bunker, whatever. Skip the first one, which is the actual identifier we want, which we actually want to get out of it, so maybe we don't do that just this yet, but reverse that again, and that's then join it back up together. So basically we want the parts of it are split. The I guess, yeah. And then basically we only need to do this if it has more than one part, right? Otherwise we don't need to change anything. Then the actual character identifier is the last, and then namespace is this thing. Or I guess we could just like say jar parts dot accept, but then yeah, it doesn't really work. I don't know if we want to do this yet, but basically we have this name. Now we have a namespace for the character, and yeah, if the deck definition and character identifier have different namespaces, we need to handle that. So this is complicated stuff. This is a mod variant for a deck that's not in the mod itself. So yeah, so in that case, we need to like look up for the artwork in that mod that has the variant by the identifier without the namespace on it, right? So by default, the mod namespace is going to be the definitions namespace, but we might have to change it. We can, like, by default, pass it in like that, which for the case where, like, you can sort of have a table, right? So for Handelabra content, it's just null, and this part is gonna fail, so it just stays null. For a mod, say the Cauldron, that is one of the regular characters, it's going to have its namespace. This part's going to fail, go through. If it's the Cauldron and it's a mod for its own character, this is again not going to have anything, or sorry, a promo for its own character or whatever. If it's a promo in a mod for a Handelabra content, this is going to be null. This is going to be something. And so we want to change the mod namespace to be the one that we got from the character. And we want to change the character identifier to be the thing just without the namespace. So that's good. Then there's also the case where you have mod A and then mod B has a variant for a deck from mod A. So this is going to be the namespace of mod A. This is going to be the namespace of mod B. And I think it's the same thing. So the same thing as if a Handelabra one. So I think this should work. We can like log stuff out and stuff too, but I think we can try this. And then this path, this path doesn't care about mod or anything. It's just was screwing up on like having dots in the file name and stuff. We want this to be cutout start of game heroes, wayward bunker character, right? We don't want it to have workshopping dot or anything like that in there. So that is, long story short, what we're looking at here. And then if this logic works, we'll like include it in that. Okay. Hope that's all clear as mud. And we might have to do this more than once for different types of files. Okay, so we can try all the different cases. Not all. We don't have a second mod right now, so we can't totally do it. But we can say, here's our, I guess, a regular hero, a variant of a regular hero. Null exception argument cannot be null. That's something that I did just recently. Take a look at that in a second. I guess we'll just try a regular hero, try our mod, and we'll try a regular migrant coder here. Okay, so we got the bunker file and we got the migrant coder file. And episode 0. So that's cool. Okay, so I feel good about that. So what I want to do is like basically get this logic in a way that we can use it without having to like copy all of this every time. In like all of these places, like all of these places will need that. Where I just like threw in definition.namespace, like that's not working for this case. For probably a lot of these, actually, we'll need, like anywhere we're just like, oh, use the definitions namespace, but that's not the case. If I guess it works for like environments, but heroes and villains have promos, right? So basically we want to like have a method that says like get mod space, and we pass in like we're always getting the deck definition here, so we pass in a deck definition. We pass in a character identifier, and that is a in out. Is that it? What's that? Ref? Yeah. And we return a string. So basically, we can change the character identifier in this method that you pass in. So we say the definition is the, original thing, and then we can do this. Maybe like determine mod space. We'll do this logic. We are changing the character identifier here, right? And we return mod space. So instead of just taking definition.mod space, we're going to use this. And so here we want to say mod space equals determine mod space, definition, and character identifier. And we have to say ref when we call it. Object reference is required. Oh, it's static. Okay. Cool. So that should still work. Let's just check that. Just basically move that logic to a function so we can reuse it. I haven't done the mod for. I should make an artwork file for that. Actually, we did, didn't we? Maybe we didn't. We'll take a look. We'll do that. Test that out right here. Yeah. So that works. Did I make migrant coder lockdown? No. So let's grab like this file. Character C, and that can be migrant coder lockdown character. I think make sure I get the identifier right. Migrant coder lockdown character. Yeah. Okay. So let's rename. We'll put the other files in here then. Can sneakily rename them as well. Oh. Rename. This. Oh, no. Don't compress them. Rename them. Rename items. Character C with migrant coder lockdown character. Rename. Okay. And yes, no dialog file can go there. Start of game file here. Can go here. And okay, we should have those files loading for that character, and we can make sure that our logic works for a variant of a mod within the mod. It's complicated to talk about these things sometimes. And then we'll fix Skyscraper as well, because we broke Skyscraper. All right, this is the mod version. Okay. And this is just complicated when you have another Unity. Hey, there we go. And there's the file. Cool. Okay, so that seems good. We broke Skyscraper, so let's fix that. Probably because if you look at Skyscraper deck list, her. Oh, what are we opening? Xcode. Her thing. No variant button on the large character card. Yeah, that's probably just an issue with it not knowing about the mod ones at that spot. Initial card identifier is Skyscraper normal. But her card has a shared identifier, and that's what it was. It's using, like, the previous logic was just like take the deck identifier and add the word character to it, which is like fine, but didn't work for the Sentinels, so we had a special case, and now it's not going to work for Skyscraper, so we have another special case. So that's going in circles there a little bit. So basically, special case. I guess what we can do is find the shared identifier of that card. If hero character, hero def dot card. Yeah. Card definitions. So if it has a shared identifier, use a shared identifier. I think they always do, but I'm not sure. Handle skyscraper. Special. But without having it say, like, if it's skyscraper, this is something we have done a bunch, is like, skyscraper's weird. So, like, you know, if you search for skyscraper in here, there are things that are like, if it's skyscraper, do something special. And obviously that doesn't work for mods that would want to work the same way. It wasn't a problem before, because, you know, anything that did sort of become normal then would be normalized or whatever, but like, we just had to deal with whatever was in the game already, right? And so now we have to deal with whatever anyone is doing, which is a different matter. Right, so while we're here, let's put in, yeah, we're getting null exceptions, so there's something wrong. We broke everything. Something wrong with the set promo card function I changed there. Let's just do skyscraper here, and we'll go back and fix that, because we don't want that. Oh, the any is actually another good test too. We're not using the same logic there yet, but there's skyscraper, and we can double check extremist skyscraper, but actually the set promo card function is failing here. So is that part of this commit? I think that was part of the previous commit, right? Or that was part of what I did here to fix the bug, but it wasn't the right fix, I guess, so we'll have to see. Yeah, so let's see what's happening. I think maybe there's a null being passed somewhere. So if we go to new game, like, we could reproduce this by just like clicking on the variance button, or bringing, yeah. So where's this? Set promo card is getting a null. Oh, because the turn ticker identifier is null sometimes? Okay. I don't know why, but I'm fine to put in a null check, generally. Let's see. Oh, because the Sentinels promos are character-based, not... Oh, I still get a null. Wait, did I not save the file? Line 772. Oh. You can't pass in null to start with. That's the... I guess card. I guess we have this card.is mod content, right? I believe that should do it. We'll still have the null check because I don't know. Okay. Can't pass null to starts with, turns out. Okay. And this is variant. And bunker has a variant. And skyscraper is locked, but available because I clicked it. Those are the things I expect, I think. Cool. All right. Let's just commit this, and we can just say add null check. And right, so this stuff isn't all necessarily done. I'll say I can commit a couple of things to this. So don't log error when effects file is missing. Right, we need to continue, I think, using this in all the places where it needs to be. Yeah, this is sort of part of it, right? Yeah. Or is it? No, this is its own thing. Which is basically like use the first initial character card as the identifier for start of game. Cut out. But in resource helpers here where we've been like doing this logic, so just sort of got ahead of ourselves. So basically I want this, all these places where we just added mod namespace, we need to be smarter about it and call this function that we made. And instead of just passing the definitions namespace, maybe it's not that, maybe it's a different one. So here, this async version, and then I think villains can have promos, obviously. So we're gonna do the same thing. Like this. This is the async version of the same thing. Definition needs to go first. The order of these matters. Mod space. Okay, so villain and hero start again textures using that logic. The end of game stuff probably is going to be similar. Maybe. We'll get there. Let's just go with that right now. We don't have a mod villain, but we can double check that regular villains still will work here. We don't have a mod villain example yet. So new game, just random it up, see if progeny shows up. Cool. Okay, so that is fix start of game image loading for involving mod content, particularly mod variants of other content. Cool. All right, so that I think covers the start of game or game intro resource. We don't, I don't know about the environment background, so let's, I think we haven't put that in. We'd have a start image. We just copied Silver Gulp. So let's make sure. I think that we hadn't put in the loading namespace order for that. So let's just see if that works. Got your mod villain to load the other day. Nice. Let's put in our environment. Drop frame is just a card. Right. So here it's trying to actually. It's not working at all. So it's trying to change the background. When we do this, right, it changes the entire background of the screen by loading that file, and it's obviously not working. And it's looking for a file name that makes no sense. So something is going wrong there. I'm going to take a quick break, though, and I will return, and we can look at that error and what's going on there. Should be some sort of similar to what we've been doing here, so... Let's take a quick break. Make my classic BRB, and I will BRB. All right. Oh, I forgot my water. All right. Yeah, so Trident, you can include card art as of the last update. So that is a thing you can do, including for environment cards. We're looking at the background of the environment right now. Unable to show variant. Mysterious. Okay. So is that coming from... This is coming from load environment start of game texture. Okay. This one. And is it the async version or the regular version? Async version. Yeah, that comes from game setup view controller. We load, and we're using async so that we don't like, freeze the game for a second or whatever. So we should not have a problem loading the namespace of this. Like, it should be pulling up. I wonder if there's an issue with that just in. Like, it's clearly not. Oh, it's going into mod manager, but the path is all messed up. Path. Oh, I see. Yeah, so I guess for the path, this should not be including the, because this is being passed a qualified identifier, but this path thing should not be trying to use the qualified identifier. So basically, these are a lot simpler. Instead of just using that, we're just going to use .identifier on that, which is just going to basically remove the workshopping out of it just by nature of it. So environments are simpler, right? There's no like promos. So let's see. So if we click our environment now, should see that Silver Gulch image. Yeah, cool. So it loaded the Silver Gulch image, which is just this one. So I can put like shape on it. This is mine. Stars. Stars. Just make sure that we're loading the right one. And one of the nice things about that is that if it actually loads an image, you don't get that weird, like, glitchy intro screen with, where, like, you see the start game button. Like, if there's no graphic here, you just see the game. The game is actually hidden behind here, right? Like, that's happening. Right, it doesn't have card art for the environment, but that is because I didn't make one. Cool, I didn't make an atlas for that, just for my hero. So we're getting that images in there, so that is good. I will just fix this properly. Load mod environment, start of game, image. Okay, so that covers the environment background. So everything's working there in game intro. I guess there's also villain, team, sprites. That is a thing. If there's a villain team promo, which, did I make a villain team promo? Or not a promo, but promos are not a thing that we support. That's going to need some extra work. Villain team promo, that is not a thing. Don't try to do that. I did make the hug monster. But there are graphics for this. Like, there's a sort of main graphic that it's not going to have at all, but then there's also the little, like, so you have the first villain gets like their big picture, and then each other villain gets a small picture. So big picture should probably load. I guess there's villain, classic villain cutouts. So we can. I didn't test this, and probably should test it with my villain. So let's make a cutout for the villain. Just grab someone. I guess there's some ones that Jennifer's working on, but nothing there that's like ready, I don't think. So Let's just grab someone. Wager Master. All right. Start of game. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. Starting game villains. Grab this one. What's the name of my villain again? Something. We'll just go through and make sure everything's working here on the game intro screen and new game screen. And obviously there's also the little card art bit here, which is another thing I want to do. Maybe we'll get to that today. I want to get to that today if I can. So the baddies. The baddies character, start of game. I wonder if we can do like some sort of photo manipulation tools. Give him an auto level. Just brighten them up. Make them sepia toned. Yeah, I like that. Sepia tone Wager Master. Then we need villains. We need a folder called the baddies. We need all of these things. Rename Wager Master to the baddies. I guess we can include an effects file. We haven't been. And then I'm going to make them all sepia toned because I like that. Whoop. We'll make his effect green. We do that. We can make it orange. Make it white. Make it orange, I guess. Now we don't need a portrait file. You can have a portrait file, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Whenever your mod may come to mobile, we will worry about that. It's not a thing on Steam. That's an effects. Let's make that super blue. I don't know. Sure. And this can get our sepia tone. I'm just messing around with Wager Master now. He'll be mad. Then we're gonna need endings, which actually we didn't make for our environment. We'll set up the files here now. We haven't got to end of game stuff. That has environments and villains. Of course, Wager Master has special endings. Actually, no, his special endings don't do anything different. So, and we can do the bulk rename. Okay, and I guess we can make an environment. I don't remember the name of our environment. We'll get to that. There's nothing else, I think, for cutouts for villains. So now we should actually see our start of game cutout and other cutouts for the villain show up. Let's just make sure those are working because I didn't really check those. We just assumed they would work. The baddies, and then random is fine. All right, so that didn't work. Because it's looking for the wrong, yeah, it's doing the same. It's looking for the wrong name again. Right, where's this villain start of game texture? This might just need the same. I thought I put that in. Load villain start of game. Right, I thought we did this. It's calling this thing right here. Determine mod space. This part not working because we're then like looking for the wrong thing. Oh, I guess it's the same thing. Previously, it needs to pass in the right character identifier. I think in our game intro hero cell, we were avoiding putting in the namespace, right? Yeah, by doing this. And so we just need to do the same thing. It is in this animate in. Right. This is the same thing where it's like, it's just whatever that is plus character, but we do this. We probably do this too much. Not that much actually, but some. So this is team. That's happening for team villains. We're probably just gonna have to avoid doing this like anywhere that mods might come in. But most importantly, it's right here, and this gets used in a few places. Yeah, so basically here we want to like look up the deck, right? Yeah, this isn't going to work right for the NEAD. For sure. It might not work right for a few things, actually. I guess we could just like say, if it's a mod, we use the first character, otherwise we do the thing that we used to do. This can go first anyways. If it's in promo identifiers, we just literally use that. Otherwise, we can do this. If deck definition is not null and is mod content. Otherwise, we'll do our old thing for now. We might change this, but hey, Goofy Bunny, we are doing development of Steam Workshop support. Yeah, things didn't turn out fine after all. Tried it this time, but we'll fix it. So we'll do the same thing here, which is use the identifier of the first initial card. Result is deck definition dot initial card identifiers dot first, and if that's null, then like, what are you doing? Okay, so this should get what we want. Okay, New game. Baddies. Whatever else. Hey! See him here in the scene view first. And we're getting some errors about like the card atlases, which is fine. But not about anything else. We have our villain turn graphic. We don't have any card art for him yet. That's fine. We should see a hero turn art when we've turned the page. There we go. Cool. And I don't know if the ending will work, but the start of game is working. So we can probably commit that. Fix. Start of game. Image loading for classic mod villains. Yep. Steam Workshop and mods are well underway. Well, Steam Workshop is like sort of the distribution platform. So the first thing is supporting mods properly. But there are already people hard at work on things such as the Cauldron. Okay, so that is working. Check. Villain team. So there's sort of two villain team cutout, I guess, is sort of the first. We can check if our other character loads. What was the name of our team villain? I can't remember. Anything about my mod. I guess we can look at the manifest. The Hug Monster team. Okay, so let's grab team villain graphic, which I don't know that we have anything, but we can just grab like, let's grab one of these. Team villains have like the same number of graphics as heroes, so this faceless character. Not exactly the same. They don't have damaged graphics, but they have like this amount of graphics. And I think, is it just all in the villains folder? This is where failing a little bit. Should be under resource help for, is it like team villain? No, just villain. Okay. The Hug Monster team. Rename from FBO character A. Oh, has to be a capital H or it won't work. And I think that should probably be it, as long as I remember correctly what I should be doing. We should get, if it's in first place, that graphic should be being loaded, but it might not because of similar reasons to what we just dealt with. Let's see though. And let's just do this, get some more. Yeah, so that's not loading. I wonder if the in-game one might be loading, but that might be because of the game intro logic. No, it's just not loading at all. Okay. So where's it trying to find it? Atlases. Cutouts, villain. Oh, there's a folder. Yeah. Cutouts, villains. Hug Monster team. Hug Monster team character. Gotta have the character. It's the card identifier, not the deck identifier. Okay. All right. Let's just continue game and see if it works in game first. Hey, look. That's the hero turn graphic. Sorry, the villain turn graphic. Rogue monster plays a card. We should see the hero turn graphic in a second. I guess the warm embrace does stuff. Yep, and looking the wrong way. They're just in, because they're hero graphics, they're facing backwards. That's fine. I don't really care what the graphic looks like, just that it loads. And let's put them first. Sure, migrant coder come along as well. And we should see the graphic load. Hey, look. Yeah, since these aren't like regular villains have like a special start of game graphic, but team villains they just use their in-game graphics. They don't have a separate start of game graphic. And then they have these little ones. So those are another thing. So the cutout is good. Sprites are not. That sprite thing is going to be more to do. But I'm pretty happy with how that is working. End of game is a whole other thing. Game view. Yeah, so that is working. Then we have some more sprite atlas stuff and music. What I would really like to do, it's nice to be able to see the graphics for your decks in the new game screen. So I want that to work. And so let's take a look at how that is done in the game right now. So we're going to shift gears and get back to sprite atlases a little bit. So in the new game screen, it's actually these sprites don't come from the regular, like one of the things with sprites and sprite atlases is if you have like all these little graphics, ideally you want them all to be coming from one atlas and not from many atlases, because each time you have a different graphic, that's a different atlas is a different big graphic to load, another draw call, slows things down. And so you try to like sort of collect them together. And so actually that's where it's saying could not find the sprite, because it's looking for the sprite for these in the atlases. So if we look at these, this sprite is coming from the setup game villains atlas, which is included in the game. So even if you don't own the DLC, you have these atlases. If you don't have the DLC, you don't have the full like card art and the regular atlases and stuff, but still this tiny image that has the character card art. Only the front side, because that's all you see on the new game screen. It just says exactly what we need is just these are foil versions. So there's separate atlases for heroes. This is season 1 heroes, because there's just too many. It's all the variants too, right? There are too many too many character cards to have in just one atlas. There are many. This is the core game heroes. There's room for, I think I counted as like 99 or something. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 88. I think it's 11 across. Room for 88 cards. This lock icon is for locked variants. So there's a lot. So basically with mods, what I want to do here is we obviously can't have all of your stuff in the game itself, because we're not going to be updating the game whenever anyone makes a new mod. That will not be tenable. So we need your mod to include these graphics. We're not planning on having supporting gameplay rule mods right now, Goofy Funny. We're focusing on new content. There are not 2 Unities. That was just graphics I was using as placeholders for testing stuff. But yeah, maybe down the road someday house rule mods or whatever, but that's not what our focus is on right now. So let's get back to this stuff. So basically, we already have an atlas in our mod for the actual decks of cards, right? Which are, your character cards, but also regular cards, whereas the new game screen is like just the front side of character cards. And they don't even have to be the exact same image. They can be something else if you want. And so, like, I think they do have the SC logo, I think, in them for official content, but mod content won't. But they're generally basically the character card, but they can be different if you want. And so we want to have an atlas that basically has all of the new game screen cards for your deck, and hopefully 88 is enough. If not, we can support loading more than one. I think for almost all mods, 88 should be enough. The Cauldron developers may correct me on that. But if 88 is not enough, we can support having more than one. So, yeah. So probably what I want to do is basically have a setup game atlas in here. That's just always going to be like, it's always named that. Maybe we call it setup game atlas 0 or something, so we can support having more than one later on. Or maybe I don't know if it should go in a separate place or whatever. Think about that stuff. So what these objects that load up in the game here need to be able to know. Right now they're set to, I think they use a thing called a atlas list. Yeah. Well, there's a villain atlas list, and then there's a hero atlas list. These are like just little things we have that can choose a different atlas because there's multiple, like there are too many heroes and villains to just have one atlas for them, for example. Cauldron will need more. All right. This class is, I don't know, other things use it. Yeah, so hero atlases, hero foil atlases, villain atlases. We'll just have to add like mod atlases or something here. And right, so there's an extension here. We can pass in an atlas list, and it will like just look in each one to find a sprite. And if it can't find one, that's where those logs could not find sprite. So yeah, so I think we want to basically add the mod ones to the list, or mod ones. There's going to be like each mod will have one basically. We could try to like generate it at runtime, but I'm not sure that's really necessary. And it won't really matter like which, like I don't want to like have to say like you need to have 3, you need to have one for villains, one for heroes, one for, you know, whatever, because it's not really necessary, and that's just extra work for people who aren't going to come even close to that 88 limit. So I would say like 99% of mods are going to have fewer than 88 characters or environments, and so just having one atlas is enough. So yeah, so let's close everything but maybe this file. The UI atlas list has an array, but we can just like replace that at runtime with an add one on. Basically, I just want to be able to like get the extra atlases from mods and look in them. Because yeah, so what uses hero atlases? Right, so this is just saying like, oh, I guess we could just have, if it's a mod content, then this choose atlas can just like choose the, choose the mod atlas list. That works. We'll just have like a mod atlas list here that gets populated, or it gets populated maybe like when at some point. Okay, so let's like just make one for our deck. It can be the first thing we do. So under projects, my mod, resources or source images. Yeah, that's where we have our thing. We'll make a card here called like setup game, and we'll make an atlas here. So let's grab some like character cards from somewhere. I don't know if we have any resized files in there. I guess we can get the one file. Where we're looking for my mod. I don't know why I'm spaced out here. Source images. Right. So migrant coder character and lockdown character. We want those. And we also want one for the villain. What size are these? We can just like make them 177 by 256, or we can grab, maybe we'll grab them off some other DLC to be maybe Oblivion. Yeah, they can be Oblivion. Oh yeah, they can be like these. Here, this image will never show up. This is the baddies. How about that? And then Voss. See here? He's under the Scion deck, I think. We'll give him to be the baddies, not the baddies, the Hug Monster team character. And finally we need the bunker variant, who can be Sanction. Wayward bunker character. And these don't need your namespace in them, I don't think, right? They shouldn't. I guess they could, but I don't think they probably should. We'll go with that without, and we'll see if it causes a problem. This is how we're developing stuff. So we need to make a texture packer file. And just always do that. Square. See if I remember my no rotation. Padding 3. That's like basically it. It actually doesn't need to be a PNG because they aren't transparent. Could be JPEG. That should work. Go. Guess we'll save it in here. We'll call it setup game atlas 0, so we can support more than one. And publish to, right, we'll call it setup game atlas 0. So don't make your character named setup game. Did I make an advanced feature? I thought I just didn't have advanced features. If my sprites turn red, I'm not really too concerned anyways. Oh, well, it looks real bad. Can I just disable the features? Okay. Oh, is JPEG an advanced feature? Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay. So, and then we'll put this into where the game is actually looking for it. All right. Well, we're going to look for it. No, I'm just grabbing some Oblivion artwork. I guess I can like, let's just name these things with some text on it. It's not Oblivion. The baddies. There. Beautiful. And this is not boss. It is hugs. Lovely. This is developer art in the best way. The bad dies. The Bart. The. Sanction is not sanction. It's. What was this one? Wayward Bunker. I could make the font size smaller, but that would be too easy. And these are our microencoder and their variant. Cool. Let's republish that. There you go. It's obviously not Oblivion. It is. Oh, and I didn't copy the output out. Blah, 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 blah. Wonder if this should just go like in the root folder and not there. It can go in the Atlas folder. Keep things organized. So yeah, so this is what we want to show up on the new game screen for our characters. And there's one for each of them, so that should be good. So that file is there, so we just need to load it. And our mod manager is going to need to know about it, right? We're going to need like, basically, I guess whatever wants can just call this load asset. So the game setup card view, just don't want like, I'm just trying to think of like who's responsible for loading this stuff. I suppose once it's loaded, it returns like immediately, right? Because it's cached. So that's easy. So let's start doing it in here, I guess. I guess we don't want to create. I'm going to create an Atlas list. Like, it's interesting. I mean, any particular game setup card view only needs the atlas of the mod that it's using. But since there might be more than one, this is like, hey, use plus equals. Sure. That help our life. Like, this is using, like, if it's a hero, use these atlas lists. If it's a villain, use this atlas list. If an environment, use this atlas. There's only one environment atlas because there's not only so many environments. It doesn't use an atlas list. But I guess there's a potential, as we said, for the cauldron to need more than one of these. And so wonder if we should... Maybe we'll just, for now, we're just going to load one. And then if we need more, like, we'll load one right now. And maybe the mod manager can be like, give you the right one or whatever. Let's just load one right now, and then we'll see about loading more than one. Mod Atlas. So, and that's not actually going to be assigned at the start. Do we even care about keeping that around? I don't think so. Maybe we don't care about that. It's about 100. Okay. So the first thing we can check is even here. If card is mod content, do mod stuff. Otherwise, do other stuff, basically. Get the sprite atlas from the mod manager. Mod manager.instance.load asset. Game object, right? I guess we go through memory helper, but like we don't actually need memory helper. That's just what all the other things use. Basically. I guess this code handles like creating the atlas and everything. So I guess we want memory helper here. Load sprite atlas. Okay. So, what's the sprite? Oh, I see. It's the card views. It has a card view. The path is going to be atlas. Well, let's make a variable for it. Path. The source is going to be mod. For sure. Mod space is going to be card.name mod namespace. And so the path is always going to be atlas / setup game atlas 0 for now. And the sprite name is already set. It's just like wrong. So this might just work. It might just work. One will cover the cauldron for now. Well, maybe that's okay for now. Maybe we can add it as a to-do. Did it just work? It just worked. Look at that. I mean, right-clicking doesn't do anything. Look at that. The baddies. How about heroes? There. And the variant. How about the environment? Oh, we forgot to put a graphic in for the environment. We'll go back and do that. Team mode. Hugs. All right. And actual below that. Let's put in a graphic for our environment. The environment needs to be, I believe it's just the environment identifier is the name of the sprite. Oh no, it is whatever deck back. Okay. Okay, so let's grab, I guess all of these character card images are actually in the source images of the project there. What is the name of our environment again? Where's my manifest? I can never remember the name of the crazy things. DevStream, okay. How about some artwork from this mission card? Okay. DevStream deck back. And it's definitely not whatever this graphic is. Nope. Devstar. Texture packer. Rego. And grab the output. Guess I could just have the output going to where I want it to go. That would be too easy. Atlas, And now we should, it won't work from here, right? Did it? Oh, right, because this is loading mod manager, like, as needed, so it should still actually work. Yay! And I don't have a ARP file for that. It's always nice when things work the first time, indeed. So yeah, so we got new game, and you can see if we click on it, the atlas is like this, that's being like loaded onto here. And we are never cleaning that up, but that's something for later. But then you can see like it's not, I think before it was like loading it in many, many times, but it only loaded in once at least. So, cool. Trying to load resource from mod. We did that. Cool. So that is actually all just in this one file. I don't know if that's the best practice here. Let's see. So yeah, basically, I guess I'm just going to be like to do support multiple sprite atlases for mods with more than 88 game setup images. And that might be just like look for atlas number 1 as well if it's the wrong, if it's not in there. I think that's pretty okay. Okay, so load mod sprite atlas for setup game card view. Cool. So cool, and I can actually update the resource guidelines as well, because we talk about making a texture atlas here. So there's kind of other I'll say there's 4 main categories. Is it? I don't know. That's still basically card art. We can say, let's make another section here. Heading 2. New game screen. Card art is also having issues with yes or no cutouts not showing. Is that in the yes no dialogue or in the hero detail area? It could be that the stuff that I've done today has fixed that, right? Used in the new game screen when selecting heroes, villains, and environments. your mod needs to have a sprite atlas containing each hero and villain character card front, along with each environment deck back. Yeah, maybe to support this. Use the same settings for this atlas as for deck atlases. It must be located at atlases slash, nope, just atlas slash setup game atlas 0. Support for multiple setup game atlases may be added in the future if necessary. Example of yes, no dialogue would be like, do you want to do a thing? Yes or no? I don't know. Like, there are lots of cards that, like, do you want to discard a card for this? Do you want to deal yourself damage? Do you want to discard the top card of your deck? Or things like that. Just like anything that has a yes or no. I guess I would have to add a yes-no question to my mod character for that. Let's make sure we're happy with all this first. So I think this is basically... I need to add something here that is notes that... support coming in version... What's the next version? 3.1.7? I think it's 3.1.6 right now. Do you want to put cards under the Omni Cannon? Must be 3.1.6. Did I not commit that I changed the version number? Let's check. Okay. Cool. So that is coming. It's going to be obviously in there, and then more improvements to the other cutouts and stuff is coming as well. Okay. So that is great. That means the new game screen is working. Oh, right. There was one issue with variants, right? Someone said that the variants button on the full card wasn't there. So it's possible that's not looking for things in the right place. So we have the variants button here. But right, we don't have... So if we look at like Luminary... Oh, right. It's only once they're selected that you get the variants button in the... Oh, maybe there's no variants button for anyone. Maybe I broke that entirely. That's a thing, right? There should be a button there. Yeah. Luminary, where... Oh, because I don't have any unlocked. Right. But for mod characters, they're always unlocked, so it's just not getting the right list of unlocked characters, I think. So if I grab Bunker, it's probably going to be like not there because it's not getting mod characters. Goofy, funny, does it just ignore the event entirely? I'm not sure what your question is about. So yeah, so let's take a look and see where it's pulling the list of full card view variants button. That's probably just looking at a different list of available variants than the other button. That's all. So in full card, UI full card panel. Variants button. Right. Has unlocked promos. Is calling unlocked promos for deck. We should use .any here. That's a performance improvement. Available variants for deck. Right, this call is not. This call that's taking a turn taker is looking for mod variants. This call is not. But this is using this, so we can't like necessarily. I guess we can. Handelabra decks. And variants within mod decks, right? Maybe I just don't want them to double up. All right, I guess we can just say. Oh yeah, okay. So in that deck definition, those promo definitions where this is just saying this available promos is like a list controlled. So we can say if the deck definition is mod content, just like all of them, we don't need to. We can just do this. And then if it's not mod content, restrict it. I think that. It's just they weren't coming through in sort of the base list there. Let's try that. Okay, so still got Baron Blade. He's still good. And it still works when he's down here. We grab this. We still don't see that there. So we have to dig into it maybe. Okay, so has unlocked promos. Like, I'm guessing we can like throw a log in here, right? Throw in deck definition dot identifier and unlocked promos. I don't know if that's going to be like, is that card definition? dot qualified promo identifier. Sure. Just curious, like, it might be that it's coming from somewhere else, but I just want to see. All right, so if I right-click Baron Blade, we get unlock promos for deck, and it didn't. Right. Let me print out 2 recursive string. It's like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. Just thanks for letting me know that you are an enumerable of string. That is super useful. All right, that makes sense. Unlock promos are Baron Blade, Mad Bomber Blade character. How about for Migrant Unity? Unlock promos for deck works as listed. Okay. And that's coming from, yeah, so has unlocked promos should be returning true because it's just checking to see if there's any, and there are. There are 1. So that part is returning true. So what do we get? Why are we... Where are we going here? Is it... Yeah, I wonder if it's getting overridden here or something. Let's just... I don't know if we can actually debug. Let's see. We have a separate lineup here. Let's just throw this and see if this output is becoming true or false at this point, because maybe... No, it's only this is if it's multiplayer, so it definitely has to be false. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know what this... I mean, yeah, that should be true. Are we able to debug? That'd be helpful here. No, errors. Errors that make no sense. Fine. Have to get away without debugging. Right, so that's going to say false for Migrant Coder. It'll say true for... Right, false for Dawn, because there are none. True for Baron Blade. And false. False! So what's coming out of here that's false? We can like break down this conditional. It's like annoying. This is where debugging can help a lot, but I wonder if is deck playable might... If it's a mod, just return... Oh. Yeah, that should be okay. Should be returning true. I guess we just break this down and lose our shortcutting. Evansworn asks, is a multiplayer support for mods the challenge of making sure both parties have the same mod and version, or are there additional technical hurdles? That's certainly one part of it, but there's additional stuff dealing with the whole thing around qualified identifiers and stuff like that. So there's, and lots of testing, right? Like that's a big part of it, is making sure that things work in different situations. One of the most complicated, tricky parts of it is that, like, mods are not available on mobile, so you can't just be like, if you're on mobile, just download this mod, then you can play with your friend. Like, you just can't play. So it's a usability issue, right? Like, similar to the, like, the expansion thing, like you need to have the expansions to be able to play the expansions. It's the exact same thing, but you just can't get them on mobile. Like you can buy the same expansions on mobile as you can on Steam. And so, you know, there's just difficulties around communicating that and stuff. So it's a multifaceted thing. It'll come. It'll be something that we obviously want to support multiplayer for mods, but there's a lot of aspects to it. So it's not something I'm focusing on right now. But I thought about it, obviously. Okay, so something in here is not what we want, and it's annoying, and we have to. So, show is start off with true, right? And then we do this foolishness. And then we will know what's happening. Look at that. We broke all of our lovely thing. And then we can just like do this. I'm just going to put and then we'll see where we lost it. Where do we lose the plot? Lost our shortcut evaluation. I guess and equals might shortcut. I'm not sure if it does. All right, so we started. We got true. True from this. True from this. True from this. True from this. Wait. No. From this, right? False from this. Is deck playable? I thought that might be what it was, but I wasn't sure. Is deck playable? Well, let's... this should be a qualified identifier, right? But do we... We can just do that. Yeah. I bet that's what it is. All right, check our hero. Hey, a variance button. Okay. I accept. And then bunker. Bunker doesn't work though, because this is really hard to read. Not the talisman. I'm guessing it is doing something wrong. Right, so now when we look at like migrant coder, we get things that make sense. Okay, so for bunker, we're saying Full card view is not null. We want to show the variance button. There are no unlocked promos. So it says there shouldn't be a button. That's what it says. Because it's not counting. Whoa! Did something cool. That was weird. Is that going to happen again? Yeah. No, it's like... It's unloading the asset on. It's unloading... Because memory help, we're using memory helper and it's unloading the previous one. That's easy fix. Game setup card view. It should never be unloading that, but it's doing it because we told it to. That's fun. Glad we tried that. Let's see if that's... Yeah, it's okay. Wow, a spammer. Banner. So, Bunker is saying there's no unlocked promos. Bunker, why you gotta lie to us like that? Unlocked promos for deck.any. So, yeah, because this method is not returning this part. I wonder if can this not just pass like can this not just use this? Why is it dropping down to the deck definition? That's what I'm wondering. Maybe we can do that. Like we're losing information by going down to the deck and deck definition. Available variants are like all the ones that are available. So, yeah, I know there are things that just use deck definition, like besides this. But where we are right now, we do have a turn taker, so we don't need to lose that necessarily. So I guess we just make a version of this, like that calls this, or that calls this instead, right? Like turn taker. And then we like call that one instead. And like we call the turn taker version. And we like log this out. Should call this for turn. We should just, these are going to be easier to read if they're like this. Like that should, like then that's going to call into this, which is what we want, instead of into the other thing, which doesn't handle all the things. I don't know. These are spelunking a little bit. So let's see where we get here. So Baron Blade is still good. Sure, you can ask questions. You can always ask questions. For heroes, hey Bunker. It's changing the variant to ones that we don't have, and it's not doing the right thing. But it is changing it in the background for us. Probably because there's another thing that's calling the wrong thing or something. And that's working, so. Like I don't have any legacies unlocked, so that's fine. I do have one fanatic unlocked, but it's losing sync, right? It was showing me the full card of that, so something was wrong there. Poking around the game's resources looks like music and sound effects are in WAV format. That's not correct, but I mean, they are originally in WAV, and then Unity compresses them to different formats. I don't know what the technical requirements will be for mod music. Unity prefers OGG format. So like the music in the game here all goes out to OGG Vorbis when it's built for the game. Same thing, the sound effects, they're WAV files, but they get compressed to 80 PCM format. So I do not know. Their sound effects are not a thing that's going to be like supported probably originally because sound effects are not a thing that like it is very special for a deck to have anything like basically Guise and Argent Adapter are the only things that have sound effects. It's a very special thing, whereas music is a pretty regular thing for environments and villains to have. So music will definitely be supported, and it'll be, I imagine, either OGG Vorbis or MP3 format. But yeah, it certainly wouldn't be WAV format. That would not make any sense for music. I mean, you should always be making your original stuff in as high quality original formats as possible, though, right? So similarly for graphics, like, you know, there are PSD files or whatever and uncompressed files in the Unity project, but they get compressed when they go out to the game build. Okay. The game textures also, like Unity is not using PNG or JPEG format. It's compressing them to formats that are specific for graphic cards. But that's not something that's easy for you to do. Okay. So we have a little disconnect here with when we're changing the variant, which might be just that this populate variants. Yeah, this is using the deck definition. So this needs to use card.owner. Is it not? Oh, right. Unlock promos for return taker. So instead of using the definition here, we're going to use this method, which is stronger. And this populate variance is what's finding the list when you press next and previous. So it's a little bit different logic. So that should make things sync up, hopefully. So if I choose Fanatic and I click variance and variance, yeah, we go back, but we still end up on Prime Wardens here. I wonder if that thing is must be using the wrong list too. Maybe we just get rid of this other method. What else is using it? Unlock promos for deck. Bloop. Game setup. View controller. Yeah, this is using that's the randomizer. That's the randomizer. What's that? Oh, variant stuff is so tricky. Why are our variants different? What happens? I mean, I don't know if the game is working right with variants right now. What happened before? If you click the variants button, like past when you don't have unlocked, which I can set in my beta testing options. Say we don't have GI bunker. And so like going through this, if I click variants here, oh, so it shows me GI bunker here, but actually it shouldn't. So that's actually a bug anyways. And then we get like out of sync somehow, but maybe not really out of sync, but like, you should just like totally skip over that one. Right? So I don't know that what we're doing now is any different. Like it's not any more broken. It's just like similar amount of broken where like I don't have Primordial's Fanatic unlocked and I like press this and I press this and it shows the original Fanatic and then it shows me this and it's like, well, I can't play it anyway. So I didn't break it more, I just broke it different. So yeah. So what this is doing, what the full card panel is doing is like trying to go to the next one that it can. Right? Well, like the variants, yeah, it only has the variants that it's all complicated with the Sentinels. Like the Sentinels. So we add the regular character card, then we add all the unlocked promos, foil stuff. And that's populating this underscore variants. And then there's probably another thing that's using that to like go next and previous, right? Show next variant. We check to see, I guess we already know if we have them unlocked. So we always can go next. And we notify the small card view about it. But it needs to show the next unlocked variant, right? Not the next. That's the difference. Cool. Acquire unlocked. So basically, find our index, sure. Then, but we need to like only do the unlocked one. So like while like do while, right? While next card or promo helper. While not promo helper dot is unlocked. Next card, whatever, next card. Can I do that? Dot. Come on. What is... Okay. Can that... Is it a card? Card, next card. Do while is so weird. Okay. So get the next card and we stop once it's unlocked and we can go index plus equals 1 here. So we should go to the next unlocked card, not just we also need to wrap around here. Ugly, but I think that's what we want. And then the other thing needs to say true. And then there's probably a show previous variant as well. Or just show specific variant. Let's try. Oh, there's no previous, right? It's just like it's always just the next. You just go in one direction. So right. So we had Fanatic. That shows Redeemer, which is Redeemer there. Then we go back to regular, and we're at Redeemer. Why? Oh, because is this card this doing? Oh, I'm not even checking this. Well, not require unlocked or. So if not require unlocked, it just skips past. I hate do while, I shouldn't use it. It's like, sometimes it's the right thing, but it's always just use a while break. Okay. Redeemer. Regular. Still Redeemer. Oh, right, because we went +1, it wasn't unlocked. We didn't, like, keep going. Right? Or, yeah, it needs to keep going. Oh, but it... Okay. So, this takes us to the next index. So, throw in an infinite loop here. So basically what we do is we say take that so the current index is the index of the card, add +1. If it's too big, wrap around. Cool. Then, basically, if we don't require unlocked, then we say the card is this dot variance index of, or sorry, element at index. Cool. If we don't require unlocked, the promo is unlocked. Good. So, not require unlocked, or, because I don't need, yeah, I do need brackets, or, right, I think, I don't know, do while is always feels backwards for me. So if we don't require unlocked, or it's unlocked, we can stop. Otherwise, we keep looping around, and eventually we get back to the base version, and we stop. So, or we can say, or, I guess, is promo unlocked return true if it's, I'm curious, if it's not a promo? It doesn't. That might have been what was happening. My logic might have been fine, but it's just like, it wasn't actually a promo. Or card that is promo card. If it's not a promo card, then we can stop as well. So my other logic might have been fine. This is easier to understand, I think, in my opinion. Or it's not a promo. Okay. All right, moment of truth. Fanatic, Redeemer Fanatic. Fanatic, Fanatic. Bunker, Mod Bunker. Back to regular bunker. Without clicking on this, that goes through the locked ones. And we can't right click on that because you can't. There might be a thing where like you do this and then you get a null reference. Yeah. Okay, let's do a null check there. Where's the reference? Where's the null reference at? What's null? It's on this line. I guess the full card view. I guess we gotta throw that, because that's this is a different bug. We're going deep. We'll at least don't want a null reference. If it does something funny, it does something funny. Just unlock all your variants. Oh, I see. Even if we need to have like, it's not this. We need to like, this would have shortcutted, right? But it's not shortcutting because we're just going to put the shortcuts back. Because that's why we have shortcuts. So it doesn't need to worry about this being null because we already stopped. Short circuit evaluation, that is. Okay, let's just do this. Short circuit evaluation is your friend. Love it. Live it. Get rid of these debug logs and try to get debugging to work because that would have made things easier there. Maybe. This might not actually be a problem. It's just because I took out that short circuit evaluation. We're getting a null reference. So if we turn this onto a locked variant and we pop over, we just skip to bunker. So that's fine. I'll take it. I'll take that behavior. It's weird, but it's not a problem. Okay. What did we do here? Foolishness. hopefully didn't break too many things. So this, I'll stage this chunk. And what's my previous commit? Yeah, this is just part of that commit. Then this is basically improve handling of variants on new game screen, full card view, variants button, syncing, etc. It's kind of a grab bag. We basically like improve the logic around this stuff to know about mods and sync up better. Jake asks, for cards outside the new game atlas, should the company logo be a separate atlas or on the card? I believe so on the small cards, it's all right. It's only heroes that have it. The small cards, that's baked in. If you look at the sprite, come here, sprite. That's in the graphic. But in the full cards, it might not be actually. I can't remember. Let me. Come here. Why can't I right click? This texture. No, I guess that's baked in. So, and you shouldn't use Sentinel comics anyways. You should use your own thing if you want to have that. So yeah, all those things are baked in. We do have Sentinel comics. I think it's called a C logo. Sentinel comics. It's called like bug. It's a bug. I don't know. Wherever it is. We do use it in some places in the game. But it's used, I believe, on weekly one-shots. Maybe. There's that like on multiplayer maybe. I can't remember. There's a few places where we separate it out because we're like building graphics. Like weekly one shot. Yeah, I think those are separate because that's like using this isn't a card art, right? This is like a combination of start of game graphic and environment art and SC bug, SC logo. It's part of periodical games, part of weekly one shot. Atlas. Oblivion has a different one. Multiplayer might have its own, I think, as well. I think that's a separate sprite in this. Maybe it's not. Nope, that's just that's it baked in. I mean, it's separate because it's right. But if you make a game and put something in it and come back, maybe it didn't put something there. Anyways, these graphics are dynamically loaded as well. So, but for your own card art, it should be like, basically, if you're going to print the card, except for like things that can change or text, like hit points and powers and card text and stuff. But yeah. Okay, so that was good. So what are we doing here? That's fixed. We fixed a bug. So new game screen is working pretty good, I think. We will see if you all agree when the update comes out. We also got the game intro working pretty well. There's still the villain team sprites. We have a few more game view things. We have end game stuff. I guess we have like music, right? Villain music for the end of the game, villain victory music. Yeah, there's a bunch of end game stuff. But the hero logo, that's one thing that is probably... Do team villains have that too? I'm trying to think if they have that on their own turn. Let's play a team game. I think they do, don't they? I think I forgot about that. Hugs. See if Freight Train gets a little logo on his turn. I can't remember. He does. He gets his own hero logo thing. I don't think we mentioned that. Villain team logo graphic. It's basically the same thing as that. I don't make sure we mention that in the team villains. Yeah, so heroes. This as well. Team villain. Why? I don't want to be in the header. How did I get in there? No. So yeah, that will be a thing. And small card art for mod variants of existing decks. Oh, right, like the character card art. That's actually right. That's another thing. So with our little bunker friend, right? I think, let's see what it's trying to load. But it's a small art, so it needs to be in an atlas. So you're probably gonna have to have an atlas just for your promos, basically. I guess it could get it. No, the setup game atlas doesn't have flip sides and stuff, right? And maybe there's more things or whatever. So let's see what it's trying to do right now. If we bring in Wayward Bunker and then whatever else. Warfang. Okay. We have our art. Look at that. Right. So he doesn't have. So it's looking. Let's see what it's looking for. It's looking for Atlas Bunker Atlas 0. Okay. I mean, that's not. At least it's trying, right, to find it. It would be kind of annoying if you have like a mod that's a whole bunch of promos to just like have a bunch of atlases that have like one graphic in them, but also not the end of the world. Then, well, they have two. They did the flip side as well. And then it's just looking for a large card texture, which we could just like, you could see it's just looking for in bunker, the bunker folder. So if we put in like large card textures, bunker, Wayward Bunker character, just find a character card. Give me a character card. What do we have him look like anyways? I forget. Sanction. Sanction. Bunker has lost his way. He has become Sanction. Yeah. Okay. So that is fine. It's the atlas. So basically, if we just put an atlas there, it's funny. It tries to load it every time, so it can actually sort of iterate on it. Bunker Atlas 0. So if I could just copy the setup game 1. For a second, because it's going to have the same name. yeah, then we don't have the flip side. But so that's not necessarily a full support, but basically I think it's fine to just say if you have like a bunker variant, then you need to make a bunker atlas and put, maybe you have multiple variants, right? So you can put them all in that one atlas, and then technically we could say you could have like an atlas with just your promos in it, but then we need to have special loading for that, and it's easier to just have to not do anything. If this is gonna work, then let's just do this for now. So that's working, and we'll have to document it. Yeah, so basically variants of existing characters. Small, if you make a variant of an existing character in your mod, place small card art atlas for it at atlas / deck identifier atlas 0, where I guess deck identifier is that of the one I don't know, is the one that the existing character belongs to. Awkward. And we'll put this notice in the character art as well. Basically, just put them in the usual place, right? Like if you put them in Hero's bunker, whatever, like it just, there's nothing special. It's as if you made the bunker deck. As if it were original deck in your mod. How about that? Cool. So yeah, so the logo graphics are the last little bit there. And the end game, which some of it might just work now. Maybe we'll just take a look. I'm going to take another quick break, and we'll take a look at the end game screen while we're on a roll. And if it's a lot of work, I might not do it all, but if it's a little bit, maybe. Be right back. All right. Let's take a look at the end game screen. End game screen. Right, we can have it load up a file. It's probably, I think it has like a fixed set of like things. Yeah, like Oblivion. So it's got something in the stuff in the code that is doing stuff. In the new game screen, did I add a mod manager to it? No, it's just like loading it as needed. Let's see if we can try this. So let's not load an Oblivion game. Let's load like a regular game. And sure, Omnitron, but it's going to be workshopping a migrant coder. And this is going to be an error if it's, I don't care if it's not used. Let's see. Right, our hero's not going to be showing up. That's... Oh, also we just get an exception. Oh, right, because we're not, like, loading... This is all happening too fast, basically, for the mod stuff. We can, I guess, throw in our little mod loading hack. Can I do? Here's my assembly. Mod tester. Cheating. Cheaty McCheaty. Don't have to like play a whole game. All right, so we didn't crash or anything. It's just like we don't have a sprite named migrant coder, so it's blank. So that's expected. We aren't loading that sprite thing yet, and that's a thing we're going to be doing. But we should be loading environment and should be able to load environment and villain images. So dev stream is our environment, right? And the baddies is our villain. And those things should be able to work. Let's see. Doesn't like that. Is that the right names? I never remember the names of my things. DevStream and the baddies. Oh, forgot my namespace. I would like it to just not have a null exception there, but we'll get there. Error handling stream feature. Maybe that will be the holiday stream. Exciting error handling stream. All right, we're loading nothing at all because we probably have a bunch of assumptions about names of things. Though it is trying to find something. So it's trying to find endings. Oh, I wonder if the mod manager is hasn't loaded the mod soon enough. Oh, it did say it loaded it. Kosuke's mod / endings. Oh. This is in the wrong place. It's like I I know I put those files there, and that seems to be where they were. All right, so I think this needs to be called, oh, we didn't put an environment ending image in, so let's get that. It looks like it's really trying hard to load it, so let's give it a file. I'm just gonna like copy one of these environment images. That's fine. All right, the environment image, check. Villain image is trying to load the baddies. Oh, did I forget the word character? Endings, villains, / the baddies. So these need to be in a folder. I'm sure this is all documented. I didn't read my documentation. That's probably what's going on is I'm not doing it the way I'm supposed to. So, but if you do see an error in the documentation, please let us know. Hey, look. That's cool. And we have a thing on here we can change to make it be where we win instead of lose. But who's winning? The villain winning or the hero's winning? The hero's winning. Cool. So we got some end game graphics. And actually, I didn't change anything, right? Like, I just like did some debug stuff there. So based on the earlier stuff that I did, this stuff is working now. So our background villain cutouts. Nice. So the hero grid images and villain team images are also going to be a thing. So if I like make a villain game, just like make another version of this. Not Seamus, just the Hug Monster team. And then we have Biomancer team that I could just copy and paste. And Greaser team. And I guess we could put in our bunker promo at some point. We'll deal with that when we're actually doing the sprites. We're not going to get to that today, I don't think, though. Yeah, so it's trying to load the graphic for the Hug Monster, but it's not there. That won't be too complicated. Basically, it's going to be similar to what we just did for, like, the setup game atlas and the bunker atlas. It's just going to be a new atlas for, like, end game images, and probably it can just be one for like heroes and team villains. And those atlases look like click. Yeah, they're like masked into this like cool rhombus shape, but they're the same for heroes and villains, and they look like this. It's like this atlas is completely full. It also has scions in it, I guess. So that's how many fits in 2040 by 2048. We have 5 across and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exactly 50 fit. And then these are the hero ones. And the heroes have flip side as well. The villains don't. I don't think. Oh, they do. They're just all in the same one. So probably we'll just be like, make end game atlas, right? And then have your sprites in there. But they're split up like this because there's too many heroes. Like there's a lot of heroes. And and I guess there's end game environments for Oblivion as well. Okay, there's another thing I didn't know about. So let's make a note of that. Environment grid images for OA mode. And those show up in the destroyed environments. So probably probably there can be just one end game atlas with whatever sprites you need for your mod in here. With potential support for more pages. Sure. Like we just split them up by like heroes and villains just for convenience, but like they don't necessarily need to be organized. They're not that, they're like a very small number of graphics, and so it's not a big performance deal. It's one screen. They're not used in many places. Cool. So that is something we'll get to next time on the dev stream. I think that will be wrapping up all the visuals on the end game. The game intro has this villain team sprites. These are actually the same sprites. Are they the same? No, they're different, but they're very similar. I think they're a little different. Yeah, they could be the same, but they're different. Team villain intro. So, oh, they're a different shape, so they are different. Okay. And it's like, oh, are they the same? So yeah, we'll get the villain team intro. We'll get the end game sprites sorted out next time. And the hero logos are also a sprite atlas. So yes, a few more sprite atlas things to deal with next time. Hopefully we'll have some engine documentation available to release by next week. And yeah, we'll see what's next. We're getting close to being to the point where we could say we're happy with like alpha version, right? Where like we have enough support for everything that we want. So, but we'll continue working on stuff. That's probably all I have for today, because I've got to get ready for some stuff this evening. If you have any questions, you can throw them at me quick before we sign off. But yeah, so after this sort of alpha level support is all at a good place, we'll be looking at actually integrating Steam Workshop. But this is a good milestone of basically like mod support is working, and then we'll be working more directly with mod authors as well, especially once there's documentation to, if there's things that aren't working or things that need extensions or whatever, we can potentially start looking at those things. But still getting the basics wrapped up here. But so far so good. Cool. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there. Wear a mask and be excellent to one another. Have a good day, and tune in for Spirit Island Saturday tomorrow, I suppose. See you later.